Next week, Better Man drops in theaters wide. I was already able to see it, and I am actually happy to report this is probably the very first time a January movie in the first week is great. Hi, my name is Nathan, and I like to talk about a lot of movies on this channel. If you're new here, down below in the comment section, share your thoughts on the movie Better Man if you have seen it, and when it releases next week, share your excitement level for this film. Over on my channel, I have more content like this. Check those out once this video is over. And if you enjoyed this video, click the like button. Be sure to subscribe because that really does help a lot. With all that said, let's just get straight into this movie with the review. I'm kind of just going to do this in one take because, like I said, I did think that this was a great movie. And had this movie released wide back in December, I think it might have ended up in my favorite movies of the year, but it doesn't release wide until next week. Thus, I'm going to count it as a 2025 movie. In this case, the first movie that I see in the year 2025. And I just thought this was a great little biopic musical film. So essentially, if you don't know what this is a movie from the director Michael Gracey. Michael Gracey is the director of The Greatest Showman, movie that I absolutely love. And I don't think I've said it before on this channel, but The Greatest Showman, I think, is the movie that I have rewatched the most times. I just find that movie so rewatchable, so enjoyable, so entertaining, and so wholesome and heartwarming. So I've rewatched that movie several times. And so much life is brought into that movie, and he brings the same bag of tricks that he did with The Greatest Showman, and he transfers that over to Better Man, and I would say it really, really worked. What he did so well with The Greatest Showman was that he took this, Greatest Showman's another biopic, but he took this sort of ambition, rise to not power, but rise to dreams, and how this guy that wanted to own a circus, and he kind of played this formulaic story, brought such energy, life, and compelling and emotion into it with The Greatest Showman. Here, he does the same exact thing, where it takes a formulaic biopic sort of plot template, same beats as a biopic, but he just absolutely brings it to life. It just sticks out, pops out in your mind, because this guy is so good at just bringing so much life into the projects that he's directed, which he only directed 2 projects, The Greatest Showman in this movie, but he just brought so much to it. And the way he did that in this movie, in this case, was that essentially it's a Robbie Williams biopic. Now, to give you some context on, I have no idea who Robbie Williams is before watching this movie. I think I've never heard of this guy. I don't think I've even heard of this guy before I saw the trailers for this movie. Never listened to his music or anything like that. I didn't know Robbie Williams' story before this, and they turn him into a CGI monkey in this movie, which so out there. That's very bold, but because this director brings so much life to it, the monkey twist actually works. It's not really a plot point. They don't really explain why he's a monkey, but he's a monkey. And it just works. It's such a random thing that's out there that it works. This is an example of sort of taking a gamble with a movie and it actually paying off. An example of it not paying off is like Joker 2 from last year, where they took a gamble by making it a musical and a courtroom drama with the dumbest court case ever. They just took so many gambles with that one, didn't pay off. This is an example of them taking a gamble, and I think it actually works and pays off. And like The Greatest Showman, this movie has so much style to its musical numbers and even the way it tells its story. So it's kind of about, like I said, Robbie Williams. It kicks off, he's a kid who wants to entertain people, and then he grows up and ends up being very successful. And then it kind of plays by the beats where he has a downfall and then he has a rise again, and it kind of plays by those same exact beats. but it's so stylized in the way it's storytelling. Like all these other biopic movies, they kind of, each of these singers that they are biopicking have like these inner demons that are sort of working against them. And this movie actually, it visualizes them in an interesting way all throughout the movie during his sort of performances. Every time he performs on stage, you'll know what I'm talking about when you watch this movie. Visualizes it in a very interesting way and can make for some really cool musical numbers also. And through the storytelling that's stylized, he takes this formulaic story, makes it more interesting, and it just pops out more so you care about our character in the movie more. And the musical numbers are pretty much just as good as The Greatest Showman, and I love the musical numbers in The Greatest Showman. They're also just really good. So then, like, they're wonderfully choreographed. Some of them are these one-take long shots. There's one on a street. But you're making me feel so nice. That I just loved watching that. It's like a one-take sequence. I was absolutely captivated by most of the musical numbers in this movie. And the music itself, as something that's never heard Robbie Williams music, when the musical numbers do happen, they fit the scene that they are in. And they kind of add more to it, where you feel emotions because the director just brings... I keep going back to the fact that the director just brings more to this formulaic story. And it actually does manage to like draw out emotions by the time you get to the end of the film. And aesthetically, the way this movie does its musical numbers, the way it is, also kind of reminded me of Rocket Man, the Elton John movie from back 5 years ago. And I really enjoy Rocket Man. I really enjoy The Greatest Showman. And it's kind of a mix of the two. And that shouldn't be surprised because this guy, the director, was also like one of the producers of Rocket Man, I believe. And so if you enjoy The Greatest Showman and Rocket Man, mash those together, you get this movie, and it's just a really fun movie. And so, yeah, that's what I got to say about this movie. It's right up my alley. I'm not typically into musicals, but I love The Greatest Showman, and it had good songs, it had good musical numbers, and it had so much life brought into a formulaic story, which is what director Michael Gracie is so good at doing. So overall, I'll give it an A. And this was just a movie that was entirely made for me. And I can see myself rewatching this movie from time to time this year. This was just wildly entertaining, really fun, really enjoyable, really heartwarming also. So those are my thoughts on Better Man. Down below in the comment section, share your anticipation level of Better Man, as well as if you've seen it, share what you thought of it down below in the comment section over on my channel. I have more content like this. Check those out right now. Thank you guys so much for sticking around to the end. I will see you in the next one.